What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Eddie Hearn, aka Eddie the Con Artist, is back at it again. It's with the smoke and mirrors. Basically, always about what he think he can sell to the public. Sell him a bill of goods is basically what he's trying to do, man. He's at it again, man. I went on the boxingscene.com and seen the interview that Eddie Hearn did, and he was talking about Anthony Joshua. His next fight against Kubrat Pulev, the IBF mandatory, would have to take place at least no later than the middle part of August, in hopes that he would get another fight in by the end of 2020. You know, they say he would have to fight by no later than August, the middle part of August, if he's to get another fight in before the end of 2020. He also said that he says that a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is not out of the question, that it could still happen in October, November. You know, he said he knows that Anthony Joshua has a contract with Kubrat Pulev, and Tyson Fury has to fight Deontay Wilder, but this is a crazy world. Anything can happen, and he has not ruled that out as far as a possibility. Those two guys fighting in the unification fight October, November in 2020. And I'm here to tell you that it's Eddie Hearn once again with the smoke and mirrors. He knows that fight not happening. Number one, Kubrat Pulev is the IBF mandatory. He wants to fight next. He's not stepping aside. He's not taking step-aside money. He is the mandatory. You must fight him or get stripped. The next, after that fight, is the WBO mandatory. That's Alexander Usyk, who's currently going to defend his mandatory position against Derek Chisora. Now, if he's able to get through that, you have to fight him, because he's a WBO mandatory. Now, that's not guaranteed that it has to happen next. They might be able to get in a fight before that. That's not a fight that has to happen next. It's not like the WBO is not saying that you must fight Alexander Usyk after Kubrat Pulev, or we will strip you of your title. That's not saying that. So he could possibly get in a fight, voluntary fight, or get a unification fight in before the Alexander Usyk fight, which would open the door for a possible fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. But the door is going to get closed shut real quick, because Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, the winner of that, must fight Dillian Whyte. They can't take another fight, can't take a unification fight. You know, Dillian Whyte is not willing to take step-aside money, so that fight must happen next. Just like the Kubrat Pulev fight must happen next, the Dillian Whyte fight must happen after the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder trilogy. So at the earliest, this was Eddie Hearn ain't telling you guys. At the earliest, the fight is going to happen in summer of 2021. Eddie Hearn very well knows this, but like I said, he's out here smoking mirrors, you know, selling the public once again a bill of goods. You're not here being the used car salesman that he is, selling you a lemon and not telling you guys the truth. Now, I think he's, trying to keep AJ. See, he knows AJ is not the #1 heavyweight in the world no more. You know, prior to the first Andy Ruiz fight, Anthony Joshua was a universally recognized #1 heavyweight in the world. That's no longer the case after he was beat from pillar to post, knocked down 4 times, and stopped in the 7th round when he quit in the fight with Ruiz. Now, he was able to get his belt back. Never mind that he didn't go back to the scene of crime, New York City, the bright lights. He took his behind and ran over there to the Middle East. Saudi Arabia fought him on a quote-unquote neutral soil, even though it was a matchroom boxing card, matchroom guys promoted card, which was stacked with matchroom fighters on the undercard. He went in over there to quote-unquote neutral ground, neutral soil, and fought Andy Ruiz, and was able to jab, clinch his way, a la Vladimir Klitschko, clinch his way and move around and run away and not engage, and was able to outpoint Andy Ruiz in a boring fight in December 2019. Now he's crying, wondering why the American media and American fans are not giving him his just due. And the reason being is you should have went back to the scene of the crime. You know, right after the fight, you was saying you wouldn't mind going back to New York and fighting Anthony Ruiz in a rematch. But we all know that was smoke and mirrors again. You learn from your master, Eddie Hearn. You learn from the best. Say what you think people want to hear. When in actuality, we get down to negotiations, you and your team had no intention of fighting Andy Ruiz in the United States. You wanted him to come over here to the UK and fight you. That's what y'all really wanted. Y'all wanted to fight the rematch to take place in the UK, where you're comfortable at. But Andy Ruiz said, no way, I'm not fighting you in the UK. And that's when you came up with, well, you and your team, team came up with Saudi Arabia. When they came with a big site fee, you came over there with Saudi Arabia, and you could go to the public and say it was quote unquote on neutral soil. When we all know that Matchroom Boxing controlled that card, and they was put that card together. Andy Ruiz and him and the PBC really had no authority, no input on that fight taking place in Saudi Arabia. They had influence on the judges and the referee. They was able to get neutral judges and a neutral referee, but that was a Matchroom Boxing promoted card in Saudi Arabia. Now, and you wonder why you don't get your just due between American fans and American media. You should have went back over there to New York, to the scene of crime, where you lost your belt at, went over there and fought the same fight you fought in Saudi Arabia, jab, clinch, hold, move around, stay out of harm's way, and win a boring fight, and you would have got more credit than you would have than running back over there to Saudi Arabia, man. You looked soft running back over there to Saudi Arabia. Running over there to Saudi Arabia, not back to Saudi Arabia, but running to Saudi Arabia when you should have went back to the scene of the crime and righted the wrong. Or if not, you could have went somewhere else, but went back to the United States and showed the United States fans and media that you are a true champion and you can put on a vintage performance in the United States. You didn't want to do that, and you're sitting there wondering why you don't get your props by the American media, American fans, and that's why you don't get the props. But again, you're looking to fight Kubrat Pulev back in the UK, back in your home, back where you're comfortable. Big fish in a small pond. That's what you are right now. You know what I'm saying? Big fish in a small pond. Tyson Fury is a big fish in a big pond. He conquered United States of America. He did what you refused to do. He went and fought Deontay Wilder in the United States. The first fight in Los Angeles, California. A very good competitive fight. Ended up in a draw. A lot of people thought Tyson Fury won. I thought Deontay Wilder knocked him out in the 12th round. They should have waved it off, but that's neither here nor there. The referee let him get a chance to get back up. Ended up being a draw. Then took the rematch and put on a vintage performance. Step 2, Deontay Wilder backed him up and was able to get a 7th round knockout in that fight. So he came over here and conquered, and you failed to do so, and you wonder why he getting the love and you not getting the love. You're mad that he's the #1 heavyweight in the world. Not only the #1 heavyweight in the UK, but he's #1 heavyweight in the world, and you're number 3 behind Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. You got 3 of the 4 belts, but look at you haven't fought the top two fighters in the division. You got the best resume as far as second-tier heavyweights. You beat Dillian White, you beat Dominique Brazil, Carlos Takam, you beaten Charles Martin, you beat John Molina. Those second-tier heavyweights, you got the best resume, but the top-tier heavyweights is non-existent. Top-tier heavyweights is Tyson Fury, you haven't fought yet, and Deontay Wilder, you haven't fought yet. So Deontay, that's the reason why Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight, and Deontay Wilder, even coming off a loss, is the #2 heavyweight. Those 2 guys have fought twice, and they're about to get in the ring for a 3rd time in October, and you haven't fought either one of those guys yet. So that's the reason why you're number 3, because you beating all those other guys, those second-tier heavyweights. Oh yeah, you beat Alexander Povetkin too. That's another second-tier heavyweight, but you haven't beaten the top-tier heavyweights. You haven't even gotten in the ring with them. Until you do that, you're going to be number 3 on the heavyweight division. You knock off one of those guys, then we can put you up there ahead of those guys. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But again, people, don't fall for the Eddie Hearn propaganda. It's smoke and mirrors. They have no intention of fighting Tyson Fury in October or November. Eddie Hearn knows that fight is not going to take place in 2020. He knows that fight at the earliest is going to take place in summer of 2021. He's just selling you guys a bill of goods once again. Used car salesman Eddie Hearn selling you guys a lemon, and you guys are willing to jump in that car and drive off on it with the muffler falling out the car, the engine smoking, and the car backfiring. You willing to get in that car time and time again and believe what Eddie Hearn is selling you guys. You need to wake up and smell the coffee and understand what's really going on in the heavyweight division. And don't go by what's said, but go by what's done, and go by the past actions of the division, and go by what's already scheduled to take place, and put your own 2 numbers together, 2 + 2, and get 4, and you'll understand that what Eddie Hearn is saying is nothing but a bunch of BS propaganda and made to make AJ look in the best light possible. Well, we all know when you really look into it, that's not possible, and that's not happening, and that's not what's going to transpire next. We'll see. But that's just my opinion on the situation. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think Eddie Hearn, you believe what he's saying, which is a bunch of BS, that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua could take place in October, November? Never mind that they got to fight Kubrat Pulev, and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was going to schedule the fight in October. Do you think that fight can still take place, and them two guys will magically step aside and let that fight take? My bad, let me get the camera right. They do those two guys, and Kubrat Pulev and Deontay Wilder will magically step aside and let that fight take place? Let me know what you think in the comment section. You believe that's the case, or you believe the most sane thinking, like I'm thinking, that is a bunch of BS in Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight, if both guys keep winning, will take place no earlier than 2021. No earlier than the summer of 2021. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.